So, we see God is creator, which means he's originator, inventor, former, shaper. He comes from of himself, brings into being, that is, into existence, these things. He's life giver, because everything he created was for what purpose? To sustain life. For life, right? So, we're going to see that in planning this intention and will, what was the end result that he desired? It's a big old life. Life. But further, when we're looking at God,
It just hit me. While he went through that step process, at the end, one of the desired outcomes would have possibly that human nature, humans, would have no want for anything. But after sin was introduced is when the want for something outside of what God has provided us
you're
to
thinking
try to
ahead.
fill the void.
Good, you're thinking ahead.
Yeah, it just hit me. Yeah, go ahead. Go, yeah, but it just
Remember, here's why I'm saying Genesis 1 and 2 is some of the most important places in the Bible, if not crucial. Because if you want to see a picture of God, before the picture of God gets messed up, Genesis 1 and 2 shows the clearest picture of God. Clearest picture. Because there's no distortions up until that point. So when we see God and he's planner, that is intention, will for life, we also see he calls into being, and everything that he calls into being finds its meaning in its role in life. It has a purpose and a being for life. So he is also purpose giver.
Sounds like parenting.
Sounds like what?
Parenting.
Ah, you know what? Another picture is here. I want you to think about this. A picture in here is God is preparing everything for human beings that are coming in, his beings. Think about a parent. Now, this is a picture of God that most of us don't really understand. Because when we think of God, we think of, well, he's God. Everybody serves him, and he's, right? I want you to rethink that and think of it in this way. He is serving. Like a parent, you know, when a parent's getting ready for a child, if you've ever done this, I have a couple of times at least, you are running around. You are making the nursery. I built a crib one time out of mahogany. You can't believe I did that.
okay, so I know who to call when I
Yeah, no, you don't call me on that anymore. I'm done. Okay, so you run around, you get diapers, you get lotions and potions, you get baby colors and little dangly things that hang above the bed and all that, right? You're running around and you're furiously trying to get ready. Why?
Because she was coming.
Why are you doing all that?
Love.
Created a garden.
You are creating a place for life for that baby. Now, do you really care about the dangly things?
No.
Really, those find their meaning in the life that's coming into them and their purpose. So, God is an expectant parent here.
Kind of have both roles in mind. See the father and the mother.
So, when we think of this, then as God is going along, he's saying, let there be, let there be. There is an order, and we talk about created order, right? So, we said he creates light because everything needs light. And then the second day, or the next thing he creates is
Permanent.
Separate.
space between waters. And what materializes? What is that called?
Atmosphere.
What? Firmament? They call it a firmament, but think about it. It's an atmosphere. Because it is where he is going to put the creatures he's going to create. And they need to have an environment. So everything he does environmentally first is preparing for the beings he's going to call into life. Planner. Right? Planner. Intentioner. Purpose giver. Life giver. So he's calling these things into being, and he makes this space and creates atmosphere. Then he gathers the water together into one place. And what appears?
Ground.
What's that?
Land.
Land. Dry land appears. What is he doing in the gathering of the seas?
Organizing.
Okay, so he does, let's see. First we said atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
Then he creates waters gathered. Then land appears. Why the atmosphere?
We need it to survive.
So, atmosphere means life. Why the waters gathered?
Same thing.
Because too much water is bad, too little water is bad for life, right? For certain kinds of life. So, waters gathered equals life. Land appears. What's in the land?
Soil.
And what's in the soil?
Life.
Life, nutrients, all these things that are working together. By the way, in all this organization is also all the chemistry that goes along with it.
Yep.
Soil chemistry and nutrients. And by the way, light interacts with that.
They like, yeah.
So, life. If you're not hearing this yet, you should be. Then the dry land appears, and he calls, when he calls the gathering of the waters seas, and when he calls this space of mud, or whatever it is, land, or earth, what is he doing?
Classified.
He's
It's classifying, but he's doing something else too. Yes, that's true, and I want to follow up on that. What do you mean by classifying?
I guess he's giving everything its boundary.
he's preparing the world for the living things.
Okay, so we'll call it structure,
Okay.
but when he calls it land, when he calls it seas, what is he doing?
He's appointing each
Giving it
individual thing
purpose.
its purpose.
It's
giving it a
purpose,
name.
but there's something even more. Purpose is there, but
Identify.
identity.
We haven't studied that. That's a shame.
He is identity giver.
Come on now. You know what?
And why is he structuring? What purpose?
Because humans and, well, what's the word?
Why do we need structure?
Order.
It's right before you. Life. And why identity? All these are about life, orders and structures. You know, here's something that dawned on me, and it was through the process of studying this. Structure is a pointer to God. You can take your body, just take your body for a second. You have a bunch of different structures in your body, all different for different purposes. Same basic material, reorganized, and its purpose, its structure is designed for its purpose. That's why you have organs, and your heart is a different kind of structure, even though it's the same material, than your liver or your lungs, and all those are structured to work together for what purpose? They each have their own, but when they're doing what they do, they contribute to life. So they are all life-giving in their structure and their doing. This is wisdom beyond wisdom. Because you cannot have life if you only have them separately. They all have to be up, they all have to be working together in their proper spheres. So this structuring, that truly is life. Like the boundary between oxygen and no oxygen. Have you ever thought about water? I mean, just think about water. What if water were like gelatin? What couldn't you have? You couldn't have life. Well, you couldn't have a drink of water, but then you wouldn't have life, would you? Because it has to be such a structure that can permeate cells, and it does all the marvelous things that it does. And Water has several states, right? In those states, it provides different things, like the state when it goes up and it evaporates, and it becomes rain. And all those allow for the cycle of water. And water is necessary everywhere for life, but like I said, too little, too much, no life, or in certain areas. So when we see God and He is calling the light day and the darkness He calls night, He's giving an identity. Life giver.
Don't shut all the windows.
Okay,
Don't shut all the windows.
mower.
Let's go.
Okay, so the next thing that it creates, I hope you see where we're headed here. Then the next day, so it was, oh, by the way, there is a repeated pattern. There's several repeated patterns in here. This is story form. That means that through the story things show up. And I call it the little pig, let me in. Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. You know that story? It's called The Three Little Pigs.
Little bit.
And The Three Little Pigs is a story that shows you this idea marvelously. Through the story, there's an idea that's running through it for the kids. But as it's told, you see these repeated patterns, and you almost can guess. It's like a wave, you feel the rhythm, and boom, okay, here it comes again. We know, knock, 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 little pig, and it comes again. Well, in this story, we have those rhythms, and it sets it up for a reason. And when it breaks that pattern, that's like a big announcement. Something important just happened. So you're expecting one thing and you get another. So we see God, and He does some things. God said,